Welcome to the job site. Today I want to explain to you what is torque in wallpaper, but I'm going to try to demonstrate it to you using tape. Okay, so the customer changed his mind from the first one, and now we're on the second metallic paint. Still gold. He didn't like the color. Okay, so I'm going to put a faux finish on it. And I want to share with you what that is. But in the meantime, I want you to take a look at the tape above my brush. Do you see the ripples in the tape? For those of you who hang wallpaper and watch my channel, okay, it's a very good lesson to understand what happens when you hang wallpaper and you don't cut your corners because out of necessity or out of making a mistake. What you're looking at in those ripples is the consequence of what's called torque. Torque takes place when you put undue pressure on your wallpaper because of the fact that you're making something that's straight, unstraight. Imagine this piece of tape being a piece of wallpaper. It's an inch, but wallpaper is 21 inches wide. This is what happens to your edges when you hang it in crooked corners. You see this? You see these ripples? They become a crooked edge. You can't see it with your eye, but if you put a level up against it, it would deviate between 1/16 and even to 1/4 of an inch, like this, going straight down. That's the effect of hanging wall covering in corners that aren't straight. You get torque, and torque puts ripples on your wallpaper. It's a very important lesson, and when I saw it, I said, I'm going to share this with my viewers. It's not the point of the video, but please look at it like that. You see all of these. Now picture trying to put wallpaper or another piece of tape right up against this edge. Here's what would happen. You'd wind up flattening out some of these ruffles, and they would become wrinkled to a degree. Because how could you put a piece of straight tape up against a tape that has all those waves in it? Right? I'm just sharing ideas with you. It's an important lesson. What I'm doing here is just adding a little water over the metallic paint just to take a little bit of the color away, to give it a faux effect. Let's see how it comes out. Trying to create a faux effect with this gold pattern. Anyway, let me show them from here, so you can see the ripples. You see those ripples? That's the consequence. You see that little bend in there, right there in the center of your screen? That's because you're hanging paper on a curve. It's the same idea. And so what do you do to avoid that? What you do to avoid that is to cut it straight down, simply giving the wallpaper a new straight edge. But if you were hanging boxes or triangles or circles, once you cut it, your boxes circles and triangles are no longer going to meet up. And that is why when you hang geometric patterns and you have significantly crooked corners, it's advisable to tell the customer, you shouldn't hang this in this room because this will be the effect. But since people don't want to hear that, here's what you're going to hear. You didn't do a good job. Look at my walls. It's better to tell them, listen, you should expect torque on your wallpaper. And what happens is when you come down with your smoother, check this out. You flatten out those wrinkles sometimes. You flatten them out, especially if you're moving too fast. And sometimes it's downright inevitable. In order to straighten this out, many times, amazingly, the wall covering just finds the space on the wall to kind of flatten out. But then you multiply the error of this crooked corner every sheet. And so the third or fourth one, you're so off that unless you have a short wall, like in a bathroom, you can start seeing that your sheets are not straight. The moral of the story is this. This is what torque is on a straight sheet of wallpaper. And the remedy is to cut it in the corner after you've put it in the corner and simply straighten it out and then move on to the next wall. But if you have matching circles, squares, and triangles, the only way to hide it is with caulking right down the center, which I don't recommend. Otherwise, you can't hide it and you will have lines that are supposed to meet like this, looking like that. Okay? Now let's see if we can do a little better job with our wet rag here. That's more like it. I'm trying to make it a little light and a little dark by taking some of the paint off. If you have any suggestions about how to do this, let me know. Many of you are so artistic who watch my channel. Amazing stuff. And I love to hear it. Basically, I like to hear from anybody who can teach me to do something. That's the way I operate. The man I'm working for wants a muted look, not too drastic. And this is my idea of muting the solidity of this color. Just by taking some of it off with a damp rag. That's the practice run. We'll see if the customer likes it. I hope he does. And that's what we're going to try to do on the rest of it. On the ceiling, we're going to be hanging a gold grass cloth. Stay tuned on the next video. Probably the next one will show the gold grass cloth.